Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Damon Wilson. I'm Executive Vice President here at the Atlantic Council. Thank you for joining us for this discussion with Georgia's Foreign Minister. We're delighted to welcome Mikheil Janelidze here to the Atlantic Council. We're going to start off this afternoon with some comments on the record for the benefit of our colleagues in Georgia and in the press. And then we'll move into a private conversation with all of you that are here with us today. This is a terrific opportunity to welcome the minister here, newly appointed into the position of foreign minister. We've had the opportunity to work together as you served as deputy foreign minister when he served under now the current prime minister, Georgi Kvirikashvili, who was foreign minister just before his appointment. Together they were working, and including before that at the Ministry of Economy, to continue Georgia's transformation into a vibrant democracy and economy with the United States as its premier strategic ally. And I think your visit here today and your meeting with Secretary Kerry this afternoon, where the minister very skillfully extracted a very public commitment from the Secretary of State to visit Georgia in the coming months, is an important step as we think about preparing for the international agenda this year as we head towards the Warsaw Summit and elections in Georgia itself. We're also delighted to have with us Ambassador Archil Gegeshidze, with whom we've worked very closely here at the Atlantic Council. Thank you for your partnership. And I'm also delighted that we have a strong representation from our board, Bob Abernathy, Steve Nicandros, Frank Kramer, as well as colleagues that I've worked with in government before, as well as former bosses, Deputy National Security Advisor Judy Inslee. Thank you for being with us. The minister is coming here to Washington after some good news where the EU Commission just last week approved to lift the visa requirements for Georgian citizens traveling into Europe and the Schengen area. This will still become a political issue, where we've been focusing on the progress of how to build a policy of deterrence, but also stability, and working with our partners headed towards the NATO summit. And recognizing the reality that the minister is helping to navigate a time when the crises in Europe and the Middle East are buffeting the Caucasus region itself. There are significant issues in Georgia, from energy dependence to economic growth, to the issues of Russia's presence on Georgia's territory, all of this against the backdrop of heading to quite important elections this fall. We're hosting the minister here as part of the Atlantic Council's long-term commitment, in which everyone here around the table essentially is part of working to strengthen and embed the relationship between Georgia and the United States, and embed that relationship in the strategic partnership of the transatlantic community. We've got unfinished business on our agenda to strengthen that partnership. That's what we'll take up in our conversation today. But Mr. Minister, we're delighted to welcome you here and look forward to your comments.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Damon. It is a real honor and privilege to be here today and to have this opportunity to discuss among friends the prospects of Georgia, current status, and also the future steps. I'm here with my first official visit in the capacity of a foreign minister. I visited DC several times before in different capacities, as it was already mentioned, mostly working on enhancing the trade investment cooperation and economic cooperation between the United States and Georgia. But I'm here today, and during this week, with a different agenda, enhancing our political ties, our cooperation on regional levels and in multilateral formats. And I'm very happy that I have opportunity to talk with this distinguished audience today. First of all, I would like to thank you, Atlantic Council, and all the members of the Council for firm support of Georgia, support of Georgia's aspirations, European and Euro-Atlantic aspirations, and it has been really very important to us during these years, and your contribution is very big to the success we are having today. And this year we are celebrating 25th anniversary of regaining independence in 1991, and when we look back in the history and these 25 years, we are proud to see that Georgia has achieved a lot during these 25 years. And most importantly, Georgia has achieved to transform country into a democratic state, has achieved to have open economy and one of the most competitive economies in terms of economic policies, not only in the region but worldwide. We are moving towards Europe and NATO, and we are progressing on that path. We are strengthening our importance as a very important player in the region and strategic importance of Georgia for the region. And we are contributing to the global security. So Georgia has become not only receiver and beneficiary, is not only a beneficiary of security and support, but also has managed to become a contributor to the global security and the interests of the international community, United States, European allies, and we are proud to have this opportunity and ability. As I mentioned, for us, it is critical that we see democratic development of Georgia, for the government, for the people of Georgia. Definitely today we can say that Georgia has very strong civil society, very vocal civil society, supportive to Georgia's aspirations, development aspirations. We have managed to progress in ensuring rule of law in Georgia, ensuring major freedoms and human rights. We know that Georgia is not perfect today, but we are on a right way, and we are pursuing all these reforms, democratic reforms, in accordance with the agenda related with association agreement and also agenda included in the annual action plans of our NATO integration. The biggest emotional achievement for Georgian people is that we have signed association agreement with the European Union, and this agreement is already applied, provisionally applied since September 2014. That agreement provides a long expected, historically expected results, a result for Georgia, which is a prospect of becoming full-fledged and full-fledged member of the European community. That agreement provides us opportunity to be politically associated with Europe, as well as becoming fully economically integrated with the EU internal market. This agreement already delivers results. We have good results, for instance, in terms of economic integration. We have, during the last 2 years, seen very interesting structural change of our trade. We see exports growing to the EU market. We see that a share of the trade with the EU is growing from 90% to more than 30%, whereas share of trade with our traditional other partners is decreasing. So it means that we are managing to diversify our trade, our economic relations, and we are becoming more integrated with the EU market. That agreement provides opportunity not only of trade opportunities for trading goods, but also opportunities for trading services, and our professionals are becoming more and more popular on European market and delivering services to European citizens. And another important step we have undertaken on our European path is visa liberalization. As it was rightly mentioned, after having implemented all recommendations of the EU since 2013 and fulfilling the visa liberalization action plan by the government of Georgia with the support of Georgian people, we just a few days ago achieved the result that Commission confirmed that Georgia is ready to be in this type of relations with the EU, is a reliable and trusted partner. to which EU can open its borders. And we are now expecting that this Commission decision of the Commission will be approved by the Council and the European Parliament, and the political decision on that will be taken, which is very important step forward on our European integration path. On the other side of Euro-Atlantic integration, which is our membership into NATO and our aspirations to become more integrated in NATO structures, we are delivering also very important results. We are implementing effectively NATO-Georgia substantial package. We have already relevant experts from the alliance supporting Georgia. They are in Georgia and helping us in delivering results in all 12 areas, which are oriented on building resilience, building the defense capabilities of Georgia, and strengthening us further. At the same time, we are fulfilling all the benchmarks of the annual national plan, and we have established joint evaluation and training center in Georgia, which is a very important step forward to become more interoperable and have more opportunities to progress on our NATO path. We are looking forward to the results of the Warsaw Summit, and we are working together with our partners, with the United States and other members of the alliance to fix the progress on the Warsaw Summit, progress in integration with NATO, and also to elaborate steps how to make Georgia's membership irreversible, again reconfirm the irreversibility of Georgia's membership into NATO, and also to look into the enhancing practical steps for increasing defense capabilities of Georgia and strengthening Georgia further. So we are happy that we are progressing not only on our European and Euro-Atlantic paths, but we are progressing in terms of internal reforms. As I mentioned already, we are pursuing all reforms related to democratization and strengthening democracy in Georgia according to the association agreement and other initiatives put forward by the government of Georgia. But at the same time, new Prime Minister has proposed a very ambitious and bold reform agenda for moving forward the economic development prospects of Georgia and overcoming the major challenge which Georgian population face today. This is still, although we had good results and unemployment has decreased by a certain amount during the last years, still it remains to be a big challenge, and therefore Prime Minister has offered new initiatives. This is a very clear 4-point reform plan. It includes, first of all, the opportunity for enhancing investment environment further by liberalizing further tax system in Georgia. Georgia has today already one of the most liberal taxation systems, but we are moving even further, and we will be abolishing profit tax on distributed earnings, which will create more opportunities for the companies to reinvest and with that to create new jobs in Georgia. At the same time, it is an interest of Georgia to support entrepreneurship further. We have the largest unemployment figures in the age group of 18 to 25, so we want to support young Georgians and young citizens of Georgia to start their own enterprises and to start their own businesses, to change a little bit mentality, which is more directed towards trying to find employment opportunities. We want to make them able to start their own businesses and to create jobs by themselves. So we are creating relevant mechanisms for easier access to finance and technical assistance mechanisms to facilitate this process. At the same time, we are interested very much in enhancing further our regional integration opportunities and integration of Georgia with the wider region. And Prime Minister has initiated a enhanced program of infrastructural projects. First of all, it's about speeding up the current infrastructural projects and implementation of current infrastructural projects, and adding new ones which will create the major architecture in Georgia and will integrate better Georgia with the region. Another area we are going to reform is an education system. We want to make it more adapted to the current market needs. We want to finance programs which are educational programs which are more required and demanded on the market. We want to also develop further professional education and vocational education system which will create more skills and more employment opportunities for our people. And very important pillar of these initiatives is inclusive governance. So the initiative of the Prime Minister is to improve governance further. First of all, to make it more inclusive and to ensure that all stakeholders and interested parties are participating in a decision-making process. First of all, Prime Minister offered this platform for discussion, constructive debates to politicians and parliamentary or non-parliamentary opposition, also to the civil society and to the private sector. So this is already happening. There are several working groups established, several formats established where those discussions are going on, and it proves to be very successful, very much welcomed by everyone. Although those formats have been established before in different ministries, now Prime Minister has brought it on a high level and ensured that on his level he will make possible this type of debate. This debate is also very important, especially now when we are facing elections, and we want to government and Prime Minister's interest is to move all these discussions in the format of substantive dialogue, substantive discussions, and to ensure that everyone has opportunity for this constructive debate. At the same time, Georgia advances in terms of, as I mentioned, geostrategic importance for the West, for Europe, and we are developing projects like we launched the construction of a new deep sea port at the Black Sea. That will be a port which will provide new opportunities for the Asia-Europe trade and transit. And we are happy to see that American company has been successful in the bidding and will be participating in the consortium which will be developing this port. At the same time, Georgia has become part of the Southern Gas Corridor project, and we will be delivering new amounts of gas to Europe, thus increasing the role of Georgia as a reliable supplier and transit country for energy resources for Europe, and ensuring energy security of Europe together with our strategic partners Azerbaijan and Turkey. We are developing and finalizing together with Azerbaijan and Turkey a project of strategic importance for the region, which is Baku-Tbilisi Kars Railway, which will be finished in 2016, and then will further in the beginning of 2017 will provide already new opportunities for transit of goods through this route. At the same time, we have established last year, at the end of the last year, relevant platform for discussions on the opportunities of the Silk Road, and Georgia continues to be a platform for discussions among the governments and among the private sector. More than 1,000 participants attended the forum last year. We have more than 75, approximately, 35 governments participating in that forum, and it it creates a real opportunity for substantive discussions on the future of the Silk Road and role of Georgia and role of the region. It will provide opportunities for better trade of east, west, and north-south. We have already interest coming from different regions. Will it be South Caucasus, Central Asia, Far East, or Afghanistan and other countries interested in being more connected with Europe. We are investing a lot on our side, also in enhancing further our soft policies as well as hard infrastructure to support this everything. At the same time, with this all positive developments, we are facing challenges, as it was mentioned. Our territories remain still to be occupied, and we see that processes are leading from occupation to annexation. Integration treaties have been signed with the de facto authorities, and those treaties are really creating huge problems in terms of the assimilation. We have violation of human rights every day. We have also different types of provocations on the occupational line, but Georgia remains to be very careful and pragmatic in its relations. We try to work together with our international partners, with our friends together in order to find peaceful solution to that conflict. We believe that there is only peaceful solution to that issue, and we try to do our best to engage more with the people living in the occupied territories and to make possible providing all the benefits Georgia is providing to the people living in the controlled territory of Georgia with its European path and European integration benefits. At the same time, as I mentioned, another challenge we are facing today is related with the increased anti-Western propaganda, and we are trying to implement measures to counter this propaganda. But to counter this propaganda well, we need specific results, and we need tangible results on our European and Euro-Atlantic integration path. That's why we are expecting now positive outcomes of the Warsaw Summit. We are expecting the visa liberalization, which is a very expected and tangible results in our European integration, and we are working with our partners in all these directions to ensure that those decisions are made, and expectations of Georgian population, which is very much consolidated and committed towards European and Euro-Atlantic future of Georgia, to meet their expectations and to show specific, very concrete deliverables and results on this path. So these were the major points I wanted to raise today with you, and I hope that discussion today will be interesting. It will be definitely interesting for me. Hope that it will be interesting for you as well.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Appreciate your opening remarks. Let me invite the cameras to close, so we'll move into a private conversation.